Monday night live with me, Andy, and back in the garage tonight. And for for the occasion, I've got the Papaya lighting. Looks quite different in here tonight, doesn't it? It looks the Papaya is really popping out at you guys tonight. I've got some additional lighting on today, so hopefully it's a bit brighter. I've noticed when I've watched the lives back, they have tended to be a little bit dark, and maybe I'm not as close as I should be to the camera as well. So I'm going to try and be a bit more involved and engaged tonight. So welcome along. Hope you've had a good Christmas. It's been it seems to be like a long time ago now, doesn't it? Christmas. So it's but yeah, it's wasn't that long ago. Was it just a few days ago? So I hope you've got lots of interesting stories and maybe car memorabilia that you've had for Christmas. So let me know in the comments if you have. Do put a comment and a chat down there. Oh yeah, Andy, welcome along, buddy. I know we've already spoken today, so welcome along. Thanks for joining on. Hopefully you've had a look at that link I've sent you for those relays, and we will touch on that tonight. I think we'll start talking about what. It's not very good, is it? The ring light's just decided to drop itself down, so hopefully that's just saved it. But yeah, hopefully we'll when a few people get on. Hi Stephen, how you doing tonight, buddy? Hope you're well. Hope you had a good Christmas. Hope the family are all well. But yeah, it's for me, it's been a bit of a status quo the last few days because I've until about 6 o'clock tonight, I had the Roadster park behind me, and I've been taking a look underneath that. Me turn. Cameron just wants to see that. Good, yes, absolutely does. It's desperate to have a look. We'll have a good look around that shortly tonight. I think we will give you a close up of that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Papaya tonight. I'm going to talk about rare colour cars as well and your thoughts behind it, because I would say right now in the market, the biggest differentiator, particularly on the 3.2s, is colour between a low mileage car and a high mileage car. Yeah, there's a bit of difference in market, but the big difference maker, I think, is the rare colour cars. Bizarre, you think it'd be more condition, but we'll talk all about it. I've got a load of things I want to talk with you all about tonight. But we'll wait for a few more people to jump on. I think we've got about 5 or 6 people on the moment, but we will talk about some of the questions that have been posed to me over the last week. Also, some of the we had our first members chat last night. So for those of you that are channel members, obviously you're aware that you can you get to access to me to have like a direct chat. So we set up like a little chat room and have a chat. So for those members, we had our first one last night. Didn't have too many people on actually because it was, I guess, been Christmas and New Year. We had yeah, there were a lot of people. I had some messages today of people that couldn't make it because someone had a really bad storm in California of all places. So they weren't able to join it, but they were quite gutted to have missed it. But I'm sure as those go on, we'll get more people on. Hello, S Cow, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're all good tonight. Welcome along to the live. Okay, back in the garage. The lovely hoodie, the lovely body warmer that Carl Foreman sent me, who's also a channel subscriber, to keep me warm in the garage. I've left it plugged in for a week because it's obviously electric and it keeps me warm. And I've come out to plug it in tonight and it hasn't charged. So I'm sitting here in the cold. So I've got an Andycharger cup of tea, and not many of these mugs about, but they are still available. So if anyone wants a mug, let me know. And of course, if anyone wants any hoodies, merch is available. T-shirts and hoodies, they're all available. So if you want one of these, let me know. So this is probably not a great colour for an ear tonight because it's very dark and black. But shall we talk about? Let's talk about colours. Right. So obviously, if you've watched the video on how I found out how many Papayas are made in the UK, Audi were very obliging. Whether it was the power of sort of talking about social media, I'm going to bring you a little bit, so a bit closer. I don't know if it's the power of social media that allowed Audi to be a bit more forthcoming with information about the Papaya when I pushed them hard. But a lot of people have tried to find out the information about the rare colour car since, and haven't got haven't got very far with Audi, which I think is quite poor on Audi's behalf. I think they should be embracing the community more and sort of supporting the fan club for it. Corey Mitchell, you had a great Christmas, mate. Thank you, buddy. I had a great Christmas, and I hope you did too. The Papaya, as you know, it's one of 41, 42 made for the UK market. Very rare colour, but there are other rare colours out there. And when we talk about rare colours, You know, the Imlay yellow is particularly rare. I don't know if Jeff's on tonight, but he's a owner of a 3.2 V6, the only one I know that's still roadworthy of those. The white cars, also very rare. The Goodwood greens are quite rare. Not, I'd say not as rare as the colours I'm talking about, but there are these. I guess at the time maybe they weren't as desirable as your silvers and your blacks and your reds and your blues, and because of that they are quite rare. And a Merlin purple roadster with a gold accents. Yet we're going to talk all about Andy's car shortly because he's been sending me some pictures of that and the story behind it. Um, Merlin purple is another great factory order colour. So of course, these colours we're talking about, they would have had demanded a premium to buy these. So because of that, people didn't want to pay the extra bit maybe for paint. So you find that the common colours were quite freely available, but these colours quite rare. So this is obviously, I should move to the side and let you see it a bit more up close. Hi John, how you doing? John Ross, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're all well tonight. This has been sitting outside for the last couple of weeks while we've had the Roadster in the garage. There is now room for the Roadster going up there. In fact, I entered a competition last night on Redline Competitions trying to win a Series 1 RS Turbo. I did say to my wife that if we won that, we'd have to put that in the garage and everything else would have to go outside. But anyway, I didn't win it, so bit of a shame. But yeah, the rare colour cars, we'll talk about that. If you look online right now, and if you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a 3.2 in particular, the biggest influence is definitely colour right now. So there's a lot of low mileage cars dotting around. And when I say low mileage, we're talking nowadays between 45 and say 70,000 miles. After 70,000 miles, they're still low mileage. Anything under 100,000 miles is seen as decent miles. There's a lot of cars available now between 100 and maybe 150,000 miles. They're quite common and obviously aren't demanding massive money. Ghost Patrol. Hello, my name is Ghost Kakasia. I'm from Indonesia. Nice to meet you. I already liked as well. Thank you, Ghost Patrol. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. Christoph, how you doing, buddy? We had a good chat. So you were one of the. So you can see Christoph's name is appearing in green because Christoph is a channel member. So that's how you can spot people that are members on the chat. So welcome along, Christoph. Thanks for jumping last night. We were a bit of a lonely old chat, didn't we? Everyone else was not around, but I've had a few people come back to me today saying they missed the chat and they wish it jumped on. So hopefully the next one we'll have a lot more people on. But going back to the colours, the cars that are for sale right now, you can pick up a 3.2 under £3,000 with sub 100,000 miles on it. This car, as we know, I got offered £10,000 for just a few weeks ago, and that's because of its a really appealing colour at the moment. It's also a very rare colour. People want those rare colours because they want it for a collection and they want it low mileage one. This has got 68,000 miles on, so it's low mileage. But I've also seen other cars around that miles asking for well under half that because they're in a silver or a black, because you can pick many of those up, and it's quite a shame because it's still going to be the same quality car just because the paint's different. But paint is making a massive difference to these cars right now. So let me know in the comments, guys, what your favourite colour Audi TT Mark 1 is, because I'd be interested to know what that is. Any ideas how many 3.2s in red, Andy? No, I don't. So Audi were very obliging with me when I asked about this. Or they weren't straight away, because I first went to Audi UK, didn't really get anywhere. And then I went to Audi Germany and asked the questions, and I translated my message into German for them to pick up, so English and German. So I was like covering all bases, and they came back and they were really obliging. And Audi UK were not. They basically dismissed me. But Audi Germany actually spoke to the factory, which I find a bit bizarre that they'd have the stats, because you'd imagine that they'd order like a big data center somewhere all this information. But anyway, so I don't know about the red cars, unfortunately, but there's a few great red examples around. They do suffer with lack appeal. So if you've got a red car, you probably are suffering with lack appeal, and that's because of the oxides in the paint. Obviously react with the UV, they heat the paint up, they cause it to get hot, they cause the lacquer and the paint to sort of expand and contract and cause that bond to break down, and then the lacquer peels off. So that's one of the big problems. But I've got a video on that. So if you've not checked out the video on the lack of people with red cars, do go and check that out. Where are you from? BRDR? I'm not sure. Edu ticks. I'm not sure what that means, but um, I'm based in Kent in the UK. So that's why I'm sort of almost like smack middle in the Kent, in the middle of nowhere. So that's where I am. But yeah, so if you've got any questions, if you're based locally, I did mention yesterday to people as well that there's a lot of people that are being charged a lot of money to scan their cars at the moment. So things like chains on the 3.2 chain readings. You normally have to scan it with OBD11 or VCDS. I've got some tools where I can scan those codes. I've had a great, I think it's New Car that have sent me I'm Aussie. Oh, okay. We've had a few Australians on. Normally, with Mr. GMT1 is normally on. He's from Australia, so there are a few of you guys out there. Appreciate your country's very big, so coming across another Mark 1 TT is probably quite unusual. But yeah, but again, I'm just trying to keep warm. So I'm gonna have a little sip of my tea. I've got one glove with fingers off, so I can move the screen. I've got the other glove just to keep my hands warm. So, by the way, I'm more into cricket. I totally get that. Yeah, the cricket in Australia is obviously a bit of a sore subject for people from the UK right now because we haven't done too well out there, have we? But hey, it's only a sport, and we're all friends, aren't we? Anyway, so we'd less said about that, the better. But I've still got a few bits dotted around. I've not started the alternator work. So when I mentioned about this live earlier on in my post, good lord, that actually worked. We'll take a photo of the daylight. Nighttime is crap. Is that the lights? Have you done the lights? You've done the angel eye lights. Amazing. Definitely let me have a look at that. We definitely, Christoph, we definitely need to do a video on that. So I think we'll sort something out. But going back to the 3.2, the bumper is still on. Darren, how are you doing? Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Again, you missed the live last night. So Christoph was on last night. Darren, I know that you were unable to get on due to, I think you said there were problems with a storm in California. I think so. Bad. Sorry to hear that, but hopefully you and your family are all okay, and hopefully you can jump on the next one. I know Christoph and I had a good chat last night. Alex Sanchez, FFANM. Hey girl. Not sure who that is, but yeah. Hi, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're all good. Yeah, don't worry, Dan. We'll have more. So that's the whole point that we were talking about last night. Is as a member, we want to do more of those features to give you guys that are members of the channel more more benefits as well. So I really appreciate you members for being on there. So there's a couple of you on the chat as you highlighted your name in green in the comments, which is great to see. So thank you. And if anybody else wants to become a member and join Darren and Christoph and the other members of supporting the channel, you can do so by clicking the join link below. And you can also support me as a one-off by buying me a cup of tea or coffee by clicking on the super thanks in this chat as well. So you can always drop me a little super thanks to buy me a cup of tea to keep me warm. Because again, this is all done out of off my own back. There's no support for me. I'm not making millions of dollars, unfortunately. It'd be great if I was, but unfortunately I'm not. It's all a hobby. Hi Janine Petruzzi, hope you're well. Thanks for jumping on the live. So the 3.2, we haven't started the work on it yet, so we have still got to take the bumper off and do the alternator. I was planning on doing that today, and I've just run out of time because I've been working the garden. If you ever want to take a holiday and come visit California, you have a place to stay here. I'm home, Northern California. Wicked, yeah. So I spent a bit of time in San Francisco. I honeymooned in San Francisco, so I love California. I've not got any further down than San Fran, so lovely part of the world, though. Appreciate that. Glenn Watson, hello, mate. Hope you had a good Christmas. Hope that car was all good, and hope you're getting it ready for Ypres. A few people messaged today about Ypres, asking about hotels and also asking about how they're getting there, what the times are, and that sort of thing. Just to recap, I have got a full video on the channel. So if you're looking to come to the International TT Show 2026, it's April the 11th, I want to say. We're going out there on April the 8th, which is Wednesday, and we're driving to get in the Eurotunnel at 10:20 a.m. So if you want to be on that Eurotunnel with us, be part of the Mark 1 convoy that's going over. We've got a couple of Mark 3s and the Mark 2s as well that come with us, but the mainly Mark 1s that are going out there. But if you want to be part of that, we're leaving 10:20 on Wednesday, the 8th of April, and we are spending the first night in Ghent. I've got a good friend that lives not far from Ghent, and he's got 5 Audi TT Mark 1s. So I'm hoping he can come along and join us for the evening in Ghent. Then on the next day, on the Thursday, the 9th, we're going to drive to Ypres, give you guys a couple of days in Ypres to go and see all of the various memorials, the various trenches to World War One. There's a lot of history there. Absolutely recommend it. So if you're coming along for that weekend, I highly recommend spending a couple of days. There's so much to see. Just take in the area. Obviously, on the Friday night, we're having dinner at the Trumpet. So if you want to book a table at the Trumpet from 7:30, I recommend emailing thetrumpet.de. Thetrumpet.be, which is the website, and book yourself a table. Say you're part of the Audi TT group that are coming over from the UK, and they'll get you a table. The main show is Saturday from 10 until 3 at Caddy Cars. Brilliant show, loads of great cars. If you want to check out the previous shows, again, jump on my channel and check out the International TT Show 2025 and 2024. Next year, 2026, is the 3rd year we've held it, and it's going to get better and better and better. Stephen Craddock, thank you for joining my channel. That's much appreciated, buddy. Welcome along. You're a very welcome member to my channel. Thanks for joining, buddy. Always great to have you along. In fact, Stephen has got a fantastic red Mark 1. So when we talk about different cars and what people have, Stephen's got a brilliant Mark 1 in red. Definitely worth checking out. He's done some nice bits of work on that. Boxes in a running, built loom day and loom for gear stick. Fingers crossed next week we'll be finished. Then set. It should be fun, yeah. Oh, and that'll be amazing, Glenn, to see that car. Really looking forward to seeing that in April next year. Really looking forward to meeting you as well, because we chat quite a bit on TikTok and various platforms. So it's always great to meet people. And that's one thing I will say to you guys. Those of you that are coming to Ypres next year or coming to any of the shows that I'm at, please come and say hi. Please come and introduce yourself, because we chat so much online, via email, via messages and comments here on YouTube and TikTok. And it's always really nice to meet the people that you're speaking to. So please do make yourself visible at these events and come and say hi. So what I want to try and do in Ypres is get a picture of everyone with their car as well. Darren, thank you so much for sending me $20 as a super chat. That is amazing. Thank you so much. That is brilliant. Thank you, Darren. Love that. You are a top guy, and I'm going to make sure that we get you on a live with the other members, and we can have a great chat. The members that support me and supported me this year, I can't thank you enough for what you do for me, because it allows me to do lots of things. In fact, everything that comes into the channel through super chats, memberships, it all gets pumped straight back into the channel, to the point that this light you probably see tonight are much better lit. I'll give you a look at that in a minute. So I've bought myself a what they call a softbox light. So I've got a ring light around the camera projecting on me, but I've got this great light here. So hopefully that will give us much better light when we're filming stuff up close, particularly when I'm doing sort of reviews and when I'm doing work in the house, when I'm talking to the camera rather than doing work on the cars. But some of the work I'm going to be doing on the cars, I do need really good light for, because camera angles and visibility are key to doing a good video. Lighting is essential for that, and I think that's some bits that maybe other people don't really focus on. And I do get a lot of feedback saying that people like my camera angles. So that's all great. So if there is a video you want me to focus on where you want to get some good camera angles, get some more detail on how to do it, then please put it in the comments as well. And also, guys, let me know what your favorite favorite rare color car is on the Audi TT Mark 1. What is your favorite color? Put it in the chat tonight so we can see, we can all talk about it. Would love to come to TT International. Where do you say the details for time, etc. are, please? Me turn. The details for that are on my YouTube channel. So if you jump across to my YouTube channel, well, you're on my YouTube channel, but maybe if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to me, and you will if you just type International TT Show into search bar, it will come up. International Audi TT Show, and it will come up. So again, it's the 3rd year that we're holding it next year, and we are hoping for an even bigger turnout. The first year we had about 160, 170 cars. This year we had about 250 cars, And I think next year we're probably going to exceed that, and we're probably going to put it out to maybe 300 cars. We've secured some additional parking for next year. So people that have been before, parking, it's not like a big industrial estate, and we're all scattered around it. We're all parked together because there's not much else going on a Saturday. But there's a big pastry factory which used to be owned by the owner of the museum where we have the show, and he's going to open the gates to that next year. We've got a whole new area of parking. There's going to be a show and shine next year in 2026. There's going to be a competition for the best original car, a best OEM car. There's going to be a competition for the best modified car. So, and there's also, we're having a raffle where you can win for an entry. I think it's €5. All money goes to charity, by the way. So we're raising money for cancer research when we have it next year. But you're going to go into a raffle to win one of, I think it's either 6 or 10 rides, high-speed rides in vehicles from the museum. So this guy's got over 50 cars in his museum, all classics, all used still now. He rallies them. A guy called Thierry De Heck, amazing, amazing cars he's got. And you can win a ride in one of his cars, and he's going to take you out personally and take you for a blast in it. My father-in-law won one last year, and he didn't want to go in it because he was a bit scared. But he went out and he had a great time. He was gone for about an hour as well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic to try on those rides. So please do. Darren, I'm looking for a Mark 1 TT Quattro in coupe in white since I already have a black Roadster. Darren, I think that's going to be a challenge to find. They're very, very rare. I don't know if they're as rare in the US as they are here in the UK, but yeah, Nathan, hi, still working. My boss is getting yelled at. Oh yeah, give him a shout. Stephen, how you doing, buddy? Hope you had a good Christmas. Thank you for adding your own comedic touch to my video, my end of year video. So guys, if you've not seen the Christmas video yet, please check that out, where I talk about some of the things that have gone on. Stephen Harper VW, that's in the comments right now. If you don't already follow Stephen, he does a whole host of content on the Mark 1 Audi TT. Fellow YouTuber like myself, please support us, all us guys, because we can't do this without your support. So if you're not subscribed to Stephen, jump over to his channel and give him a follow right now, because he does some great content. And he also does some very comedic twists, as he might have seen in my video this week, where he was actually hiding in a Volkswagen Corrado. Or was it a Scirocco? No, it was definitely a Corrado. But in joke between me and Stephen. But yeah, we've got there's so much going on already next year. I've noticed for the last couple of months I've not done an events video for the channel, and I know that a lot of you rely on those events videos to know what's going on. And I've backed off a little bit from doing that because I spent a lot of time chasing people organising events. Are you having a show? What are the details? And to the point that really I would want them to send me the information, and I can compile that, but I shouldn't have to chase people. But I was chasing people, asking for what's going on. I think some events you can find quite easily, but I still need to bring that together. Next year, I'm going to say to people, if you want me to focus on your event, please send me the details and I will cover it. I'm happy to put it into a video and I'll talk about what's going on, but they must send me the information. But there's already a really good event coming up on the 2nd of January. So this Friday coming, if you are in Essex or around the Essex area, there is an event being held at the Swallowtails restaurant in Burnham on Crouch. We did go there this year for a meal and a meeting in the middle of the summer, and that's being organised by Jeff Bedford once again, who owns that lovely 3.2 V6 in Imola Yellow. Jeff is organising an event this coming Friday. I know many of you might be back at work. I know I am, so I can't go to it. But Jeff is organising an event this coming Friday. So if you're interested, check out the Audi TT Addicts Facebook group, where you'll find that event detail, and also in the Audi TT Mark 1 OEM group, you'll find the details there as well. But Jeff is organising that. Definitely get along to it. There's always some great cars. I'm a bit gutted I can't get there. But again, I wouldn't be able to get there at the moment because this guy sitting right here has still got a bad alternator. Now, it's got enough battery charge in it for me to get from the drive into the garage. So I was able to come in and focus and get the car started. It is struggling to turn over a little bit right now. But you know, it is what it is. Just making sure you still hear me loud and clear, guys. I'm sure you are. But if you can't hear me, let me know. But I'm pretty sure you can. You can all hear me. I'm running out of tea. I might have to give the wife a shout and ask for another cup of tea. Cheers, Stephen. that was my little. I had to replace that because um, for those of you that watched possibly I think my very first live since I've been started the lives again, because I didn't do lives for a long time, but I was getting a lot of feedback asking me people to do it. I did a live maybe at early November, and I hung. There's a light down there. You can probably see that light box. See that light box there. I decided to hang that. It's very heavy, and I hung it from the spring across the garage door. It broke the spring, so my old garage door wouldn't close anymore, wouldn't open and close. So it was basically shut, and I couldn't open it. So I've had a new garage door. I've had an electric garage door put on. Gives me a bit more security as well. I think it's a nice feature with the light on it as well, so it looks quite good. Nice contrast with the car as well. So I've got some light trying to light the back of the garage. So I've got this wonderful light here that I've just bought myself. I had the stand luckily, but I've just bought myself a soft box to give me a bit of extra light when I'm talking to you guys, because lighting is so important, and strip lights are just a bit naff. But I'm just going to focus that a bit more around on me. And ring lights are not great as well. But what I want to do at some point is I don't know if people would be interested, but I want to take you behind the scenes on some of the videos and how I do the videos and share them with people, because not so much just because I mean you guys might find that interesting how we do the videos, but I think you might find it interesting if you yourself you want to do a video on the Audi TT, or you want to do it on anything else on YouTube, and you want to see how I make the videos and what I do and what equipment I use, because you can do it with anything. I'm just doing this with a phone tonight. YouTube, Latam, hola, hola. How you doing tonight? But yeah, if let me know in the comments. Would you want to see that? Would you be interested in seeing what goes on behind the scenes, what equipment we use, how I do what I do? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I am Mexican. Can you say hello? Buenos dias, señor. Hola. Was that count? Donde vives? Do you know? Do you not have your own film crew, Andy? You are living in the past. Yeah, Stephen. I haven't got a film crew like you. As you evidenced in your video to me last week, you've got your own film crew. But yeah, it's so to give people an understanding of what we do. You know, Stephen and I obviously um, are in the same boat. We're about the same sort of YouTube sort of size, I guess. We class as of what we do. So we do it all ourselves. We do the filming, we do the editing, we do the script writing, we do the lighting, we do everything ourselves. So that's muchas gracias, señor. Uh, um, but yeah, hi Nando, how you doing? I hope you had a good Christmas too. What did you do for Christmas? Did you do any work on the car? What's going on with your car right now? Let me know, guys. What have you got going on with the cars? You know, this is a two-way thing. You let me know if you've got any questions. But talking about questions and people that have got in touch, one of the guys that's in the chat tonight is Andy Mortimer. So Andy has been bringing back to life a beautiful Merlin purple Roadster for the last, I don't know how long, Andy, maybe the last 2 years. We first spoke, I think, I want to say it must have been about 2.5 years ago at the Vorsprung show, and you were talking to me then about what you were trying to do, what you wanted to do, and bring it back to life. And it's so great to see that car come back to life. So what I need to start doing in these lives is I want to get a way where I can drop pictures into the live so you can see what's going on. But Andy has brought this beautiful Merlin purple roaster back to life. He's not kept it totally OEM. He's kept it class as OEM plus. So he's made a couple of changes to it, including painting the fuel cap gold. Now that is a bit of a polarizing thing to do, Andy. People may like it, people may not, but I think it contrasts really nice with the Merlin purple. I think it looks so quite a nice little feature that. So, guys, what are your thoughts on taking a car and making it OEM plus? And what do you class as OEM plus? YouTube Latam, are you asking me how old I am? I'm old enough to be making YouTube videos. That's all you need to know. So, you've owned it. You've owned any three. It's covered 60,000 miles. My TT is locked in my garage 3 years. Stockpiling parts. Have everything now. I just need to put them in. Hopefully get started in January. That's great. What is the original car, Nando? Let me know what your original car is, the base model you work with. Okay, Andy, so you said you've had the car for 3 years and it's covered 60,000 miles. So it's nice and low still. So Andy has got an issue with the roof right now where he needs to acquire 2 relays for the roof. So there are 2 relays that run the roof. Now, I believe the relays that run the roof are on the driver's side in the UK. They're above your feet, just at the bottom of the dashboard. There's a panel there with relays in, and they do all have numbers, and I don't know the numbers, guys. So if you know the numbers of the relays that Andy needs to replace, and if there's any breakers on tonight that have got those relays in stock, please let me know, because that would be really helpful for Andy. OEM Plus, I think it's just modern brakes, nicer tyres, and short shifter, a bit more horses. Okay, that's a good shout, Christoph. OEM Plus, with OEM Plus, it's nice to have a few bits that bring it to a modern day car technology. Yeah, I guess the Papaya behind me is OEM Plus then, because this doesn't have. Christoph and I were talking about the TT flap yesterday on my members only live, and we were saying that the TT flap is obviously integral to everything that's TT. You know, it's epitomizes TT. Now this car doesn't have that flap anymore, because what it's got a double DIN stereo with Apple CarPlay that replaces the TT flap. So that is gone, and because there's a double DIN in there, the heater controls have moved down to where the cigarette lighter and drawer. So this car has no cigarette lighter, which makes pumping tyres tricky unless you've got a battery-powered USB chargeable tyre inflator, which luckily I do have. I've also got USB charging in this car. It's got coffee cup holders over the air vents. So they're OEM Plus. It's got a set of, for those of you that have seen my video, it has got a set of Brembo brakes on the car now from a Seat Leon Cooper R. So it is pretty OEM Plus now. But okay, let's scroll back for. I love the Papaya V6. What a car! Thank you, buddy. Appreciate the kind words about the car. It is mine is a Mark 180 Quattro. Nice, Nando. Is it a oh, it's a Quattro. So that's the 4-wheel drive, because they do a 2-wheel drive. They do a 2-wheel drive 180, and they do a 4-wheel drive 180, as we know. Now, the 2-wheel drive 180 with the faster spooling KO3 turbo is supposedly as quick off the mark as the 225, because of the 225, they're all Quattro. They're all running that really heavy running gear at the back. They run the KO4 turbo, so it takes longer to spool up. So off the mark, the 180 front-wheel drive is meant to be as quick. I don't have factual proof of that, but that's what it is. But talking of facts, there will be a little video coming to the channel tomorrow, and I guess it's a bit of a challenge for everybody. So there are 100 Audi TT Mark 1 facts that I've put in a video that will be coming to the channel tomorrow. And what I want you all to do, watch the video and look at the facts they come up, and be honest, say if you knew it or if you didn't know it. Okay, so there'll be a lot of things in there that I'm sure many of you will know. There may be some unusual facts in there that maybe not many people know, but it'd be good for you to take the test. So think about all the questions as they come up and answer them. Keep a running total in your head, and then in the comments, what I want you to do is tell me how many of those 100 facts you knew. So it's going to be about a 15-minute long video, and it's set to all footage of moving Audi TT Mark 1s that I have met over the last couple of years. It's a really good homage. So if I've met you and you've been at a show and your car has been featured in any way, shape or form, maybe you've been parked up at Quattrofino and I've walked past you, maybe you're at Simply Audi a couple of years ago, wherever you've been, your car may feature. And Stephen, I know that you're in here, Stephen Craddock, new member tonight. 100% your car is in there, because I spotted the registration plate in it, so I know your car is in there. In fact, there's probably quite a few of you in the chat tonight that I know your cars are in there. So yeah, so it'd be really good. Right, just going to go back through some of the questions. Mini vintage cars, you love the Papaya. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful colour car. Love my Papaya. So I did come very close to selling it a little while back, but I didn't do it. I kept the car, and it's still here. Um, what else have we got going on in the chat? I think my TT is overheating. The secret code says it's within range, but the dial in the dash is showing very hot. I also don't hear the fans come neither. Thermostat. Yeah, it could be. I would start. So if you're diagnosing problems like that, check. So you've got two numbers. You've got 49C, which is the coolant temperature, and you've got 51C on the secret code menu. 51C is the oil temperature. So they are two different temperatures there. Worth keeping an eye on both of those, because what you'll notice is the oil, when you start the car, it will take longer to come up to temperature than the water. So we talked about that last week about driving these cars. Don't drive any of the cars really, but don't drive your car until the oil is up to temperature at 90 degrees, because it's not getting the maximum performance and protection until the oil is up to temperature. So don't see the dial on your dash hit 90 degrees and think that's all good, I can give it some beans now, because you can't, because the water will get to 90 degrees before the oil does. I've noticed the oil's a little bit behind, particularly on the 3.2, because it's a lot more oil to heat up. So don't give it a thrash until it's up to temperature. But yeah, so we were talking about that. So the things to test, the quick things you can test is with the fans. There's various fuses. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but there are fuses in the at the end of the dash. There's the fuse panel. There is a cooling fans fuse there, but the majority of the cooling fans fuses are sitting right here on the battery tray. Now, even if you've got a 3.2 and the battery's in the boot, the battery tray with the fuses on it is still here in the front. So it's got three little green fuses, and I think two of them, are cooling fan fuses, and I think one of the long blade fuses, the flat fuses, is also for the cooling fans as well. So I definitely check fuses haven't blown, because if your cooling fans aren't coming on, yes, it could be a dodgy thermostat that's causing the problem, but more likely that it's going to be either might be a loose connection to your fans. Could be the fans themselves have failed, or it could be something as simple as a fuse. If it's a fuse, that's a nice cheap fix for you, rather than going to the hassle of replacing parts. So definitely things you can check yourself. Would highly recommend the short shift kit. I've taken the plate off now and put on. Oh, okay, Stephen, you see that? So it's the old plate that your car has got on in that video. Found an 04 white TT for 1,500. Needs a clutch. Slaves in debt. If I didn't have mine, I would pick it up. Interesting. Okay, so you've found an 04 white TT. So where is that, Gerard? I think you're in Spain, if I remember rightly. Pretty sure you're in Spain. Clutch slave, it's a bit of a job. That it's quite involved. Anything to do with the clutch is quite involved, but if it's reasonably priced, and it's a white car, that will definitely be worth doing. Yeah, T10 John. See, I thought that was Tom rather than John, but your plate. But that shows I'm. Oh, it's in California. Oh, Gerald, sorry, I thought you were in Spain. Apologies. Sorry, I thought you were in Spain for some reason. The full changes are gold painted badges. The BBS alloys would be silver and gold. I've fitted a V6 boot lid. Yeah, so we talked about your V6 boot lid earlier, didn't we? And guys, has anyone in the chat tonight, has anyone replaced their original 225 or 1.8T spoiler with the V6 spoiler? Be interested to know that the opinions on that and the challenges and pitfalls that sit around that. I know a few people have changed that, and they never get it to sit quite nicely afterwards. Doesn't seal particularly well. It's a bit of a pig to get the spoiler off in the first place, and a lot of people recommend, if you're doing that change, to actually find a boot lid in the same colour and swap the whole boot lid, because it's an easier job than removing it. Hi Clive, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Something I'm looking at doing, Chrissy. That is your boot lid, yeah. Guys, I'm back again with my question. Haha, my car has a cleanish idle. Every 30 seconds or so, the revs drop down from 800, and a huge drop off in the S. Oh, I don't know why they'd be dropping off. That's an interesting one. Has anyone got any I have to get back to work. Lunch break is over. Thank you, Darren. You're an absolute legend. Thank you very much for your time on the chat tonight, Darren. Thank you for being a member of the channel this year as well. It's much appreciated, buddy. Thank you so much, and happy New Year to you if I don't speak to you before, and we'll get you on a live in the new year, no doubt. My pal Tony has an Atlas Grey TT Roadster of 60,000. Dom Parrott reckons that there are less than 10 in that colour in the UK. I would say that Dom is probably right. Atlas Grey, I don't think I've even seen one in Atlas Grey. The common, I mean, grey cars are not common anyway, but obviously the Aviator Grey is quite a rare colour car. There are a few of them around. Kyle Foreman, that may or may not be in the chat tonight, he's got a beautiful Aviator car. There used to be another one owned by Felix Fox that was based a bit further up north. I think he was based in Tyneside somewhere. And he had a grey, Aviator Grey Mark 1 with purple pole position seats. Really unusual. Gerard saying, I can't find the 3.2 spoiler, so I might just get the insert piece they sell on the... Yeah, so that those aftermarket stick-on spoilers, they're a little bit hit and miss. That's the thing. Fitting them is quite tricky. Sometimes they fit quite nicely. Other times they don't fit quite well. Just sent you a picture in WhatsApp of it. Okay, Andy, nice one, buddy. I'll check that out shortly. I can't look at it right now because obviously I'll if I go and look at WhatsApp, it will stop the phone. But thanks anyway. I will check it out and I'll come back to you on that, buddy. But yeah, chuck in the comments, guys. Anything you want to speak about tonight? If you've got any challenges with the car, anything you're looking at doing. Say Christoph probably won't mind me speaking about what we spoke about last night as we were doing a live. He was showing me his headlights. And he's putting angel eye inserts around the lights, around those, around the headlight bulbs. That was going to look pretty cool. And to see the headlight without the glass on it as well, so just back to its bare shell, it looked really cool. It's something I want to cover about how to remove the glass from the headlight bulb itself, so the headlight unit itself. So if those of you that want to remove it, because there's many reasons why you'd remove that glass. You may have dirt inside the headlight recess that you can't get out. They do get messy. In fact, wait right there. I'm going to grab some headlights. I'm going to grab some headlights outside this door. And what have we got? Let's see if we can just grab these. Here we go. I've actually got a pair of headlights right here, guys. Now you can't see me. I'm bringing these round. It's going to come back on camera. So here we go. So here it's quite cloudy, isn't it? So here is a left-hand side headlight bulb, headlight unit. And if we give that a little wipe up, you can see how cloudy that is, right? Now I could rub that back and I could probably restore that quite a bit. And you can see as well, this is off a pre-facelift Mark 1. And how do I know it's off a pre-facelift Mark 1? Because the insert is black. There's no silver insert here. It's all black inside. So you can probably see there, this the top of that there. It's all, you can see the black of it. The ring light is reflecting quite badly, not helping that. But that is, that's headlight. Now that is an intact one, right? But, so that is the left-hand side bulb. And you can identify which side of the car they go on because they've got this L and R on the top of them. So this one, I don't know if you can see, but this is a beautifully clear lens. I know it's got some dirt on it. If I give it a wipe off, right, this lens, look how clean this lens is, right? Can you see that on the camera, how clean that is? It's beautifully, look in there, right? But unfortunately, it's got a massive crack just there. So that would be a beautiful lens if it wasn't for that damage. Bit of a pain. So those were the lights. This is the pair of lights that came on the pre-facelift breaker that I've got, which was the project car. So the headlights I've taken off. That's a real shame about that lens because that would be a lovely. But what it will allow me to do is I am going to remove this glass from this unit to show you how we do it. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can put it in the oven if you've got an oven big enough to put a headlight in. And you can heat that unit up and then you can peel this away. And the way these are attached is they have like a bonded, almost like a bitumen strip that go all the way around, like a glue strip that hold it in place. And you heat this up to melt that bitumen almost, and then you can prise it off. So that is one thing that we are going to do, show you how to take one apart safely. And you can buy that strip to put it back together. So this is the passenger side. You can see this definitely needs some work on it. And if we spin it around, so normally you can't see this because this is, you're normally fiddling, doing this blindly. So you've got this one here. Take that unit off like that. And then if we turn this like that, take the cover off the back of it, and there is your bulb. There is your headlight bulb on these. So we put it back in. Obviously, when you're putting it back in, they've got three little holes in it, like little pegs, and you have to make sure on these Xenons that they line up with the little pegs. Or is there two on this one? There's normally three, but they'll only go in a certain way on the back here. So he says, I'm trying to do it so I can show you. So on the back here, so if you were doing this yourself, what you'd need to do is make sure that when you're spinning this round, eventually it'll line up with all the little notches. It'll only go in a certain way, and once that's in place, once you've got that lined up, you take the little lock-in collar, you put it over the top, and then you just turn that, and then you lock it in place like so, and then you take this attachment and you screw it round, click it back in place, and that's it. And then that's held nice and safely. So that's how you put the headlight bulb in. It's quite easy to do, but what we're saying there, so Christoph is saying, I'm using black bathroom silicone to seal them back on. Okay, that's interesting. You can buy that beading to do it, and the difference being, not that it will really matter to you, is that because it's heat sensitive, the bitumen layer, if you need to take them off again in the future, you better do so. If you're going to actually bond it on with silicone sealant, you won't be able to get that apart so quite easy. But I don't know if that's with those angel eye lights putting in there. I just think maybe you want to think about that in case you can't get it off again. It might be a bit more of a battle to remove, but that's entirely your call, buddy. And I'm sure you know better than me because you're a lot further down the line with that anyway. Question that's probably been asked: what aftermarket headlight bulbs are people using to replace the Xenons? Right, Stephen, I can help a little bit on that because I can tell you what not to use. I've got a video on it as well. So if you want to check out my headlight bulb video on the channel, I had a set of LED headlight bulbs sent to me by Auxito. Now, Auxito do a lot of products, mainly electrical for the car. They did these bulbs and they sent them to me and said, would I give them a try? Absolutely, I'll give them a try. Well, I plugged them in and they initially blast, they come on after about 2 or 3 seconds and they go off. So I spoke to Auxito and told them about the problem. And then I also saw there's a video, there's a guy based in the US, another TT YouTuber, and he did a video on these. And he said they work, although it was an older car. And we worked out in the end that it's because the ballast that are built into the, so I'll show you the ballast. Here is the ballast right here. You can see it's got that high voltage sticker. So this is what gives you that oomph to the bulb to bring it to life, okay? Now, the ballasts in the for these bulbs essentially weren't giving enough oomph to that new bulb. Okay, so they didn't Hopefully you can hear me again. Whoops-a-daisy. Hopefully I'm back. I know what I've done, and I'm going to find that when I put that light down. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys. So I've been whittling away about those bulbs, haven't I? And you haven't probably heard any of that. So I don't know how much of that you missed. So I was talking about the Auxito headlight bulbs. Did you hear me tell you the story about the Auxito headlight bulbs? And did you tell me about, yeah, from there was a guy, oh, really? That far back? Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad you've all stayed. Right, so I'm going to tell that story again. I'm also going to try and find what I've done with my microphone. So I'm going to keep hold of this one. Oh, yeah, I see why. I see why, guys. The little microphone came off. So I'm now running with 2 mics. So you might get a bit of echo. Right, all about... Okay. Okay, so I'll start the story again. Hope you're all sitting comfortably. But I would like to also thanks for all putting out in the chat. The comments hadn't scrolled down, so I didn't even see your messages. So thanks for letting me know. But also thanks, Carl Foreman has actually sent me a message as well. And I think Chrissy, Crystal, did you send me a message as well? Someone sent me a message with a K at the start of it. It was telling me that there was no sound. So really appreciate you doing that. Right. Okay. So I talked about the ballast. So you must have heard a little bit about that conversation. Yeah. So the ballast, I'm going to pick it up again. The ballast on the side here. This is the ballast with the and it's got the high voltage warning on it. So this is what delivers the oomph to your bulb to make the bulb sort of activate and come on. And when I first had the Auxito bulbs, what they did was they initially came on and then they went off immediately. So I spoke to Auxito and they basically said, oh, yeah, okay, we didn't realise that, whatever. And I also reached out to this guy in the US that said they worked for him. And the difference we could work out was that the older lights have the ballast actually on the bodywork of the car, and the newer lights have the ballast on the lights. And obviously those ballasts on the lights definitely weren't supplying the voltage that you need, or the watts or the amps, whatever you need to give you the power. But as I said when you probably didn't hear what I was saying, is those of you who know me, I will tell you if products are good. Now, those Auxito bulbs, they're about, I don't know, 80, 100 pounds, whatever they are. They do not work. Do not waste your money on those Auxito bulbs. I'll always tell you, Steve, pre-facelift, they seem to work because I've got a pair of pre-facelift lights there, and they all still also have the ballast on the lights. So it seems to be if the ballast is on the bodywork, they seem to work with those headlight bulbs, but the ballasts that are built into the lights, they haven't got enough power. I personally wouldn't go and touch those Auxito bulbs. I've got a set here. You're more than welcome to try them. Now, I tried them on my my blue 3.2. I also tried them on the Roadster, thinking maybe it's the car. Didn't work on either of them. But like I said, with all products, I will tell you if something is good, and I will tell you if something is bad. And those Auxito bulbs do not work. So don't waste your money. But I'll also tell you things that are good. And again, I'm sort of like staking my reputation as a YouTuber, I guess, on telling you the truth and when things are good and when things are bad. So I will always tell you the truth. What head bulbs would you recommend as my lights? Oh, crap. Okay, Steve, I thought you'd know what would be the best bulbs. I think Bosch do a really good set of bulbs for the car. I think the Bosch bulbs are probably the best ones, if I'm perfectly honest. The lights on the TT are not great anyway, but I'd say that getting new bulbs will probably make a difference. I don't know if if you take the light apart, as Christoph has done, you've got sitting behind, you've got the reflector. So if I can just pick this up again. So sitting in the back there, you can see you've got the reflector, that silver part, right? So over time, that will dull as well. Paint might flake off, just gets dirty. Giving that a clean and making sure that's spot on, that's a great way of making sure your light is 100% effective. Keeping the lens nice and clear. I mean, look how clear that lens is. It's such a shame about that crack in it, because that pure light that will come through there will be so bright. That's the best way to sort of factor those. But yes, I've been sitting in the same spot on this car for so long. I've warmed the paintwork up. I can feel it under my hands. But yeah, so I don't really have a recommendation. I drove an Opel Corsa there, and it was actually night and day how good the new car lights are. Yeah. There's a bit of a debate going on at the moment, isn't there, with modern cars with headlights, because they are now so super bright. They they cause people a lot of problems. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I drive a Tesla Model Y as well, and the headlights on that are unbelievable on country lanes. They're so super bright. You can see everything. It's like floodlights. But what I've also noticed when I'll be driving at night is cars coming the other way will flash me like I've got my full beam on, and I haven't, you know. And it almost makes you want to put my full beam on when they do that, to say, no, this is what full beam looks like. Um, but it is, I know it's super annoying for people nowadays, particularly older people with eyesight that, or people with bad eyesight that, struggle with eyes. Those ultra bright headlights, people that wear glasses, it does affect you quite a lot. So yeah, it is a bit of a problem. Guys, if you enjoyed what you're watching tonight, please do give the screen a little tap, give that little thumbs up, so I know that you're enjoying what you're watching. I know that people are enjoying it, or some people are enjoying it because they have already given it a thumbs up. But appreciate all your love and messages and comments and everything else. If there's anything you want me to cover off, then please do let me know. My glasses are slipping a little bit, aren't they? Look, I'll put them up there. It's a bit of Teslas have the worst beam pattern of any modern car. Maybe they don't have the matrix detector headlights. Yeah, they seem to cause a lot of problems, don't they? I think that people do say that the Teslas are particularly bad from a light pattern. I have started a sister channel up for the electric cars. I've started up Andycharger Electrics. If you're also a subscriber to me, go over and subscribe to Andycharger Electric as well. I've only just started up the last few weeks. I've only got a few subscribers. I've only got about 17, 18 subscribers. Not many, but I am going to grow that channel and start talking about electric cars, the pitfalls of buying them, range anxiety. Are they affected by cold weather? What's the battery like? What's the real running costs of an electric car nowadays? So I'm going to cover a lot of things on that, because I think electric cars people are interested in, whether they like them or not. Are they the future? Who knows? I think hydrogen cars will be the future. That's the sort of the cleanest fuel that I think people can have. But it'd be interesting what people think. As far as I can tell here, stateside, the only grey silver headlights only came in the 03.2. My 03 has black ground, and the 04 found also the black. That's interesting, because the to tell you a story about, and I probably told this on the channel, getting mic feedback. Okay. How's the sound now, guys? Let me know. Let me know how if the mic is feeding back. Hopefully it's not. I've got two lights on showing it's good, but let me know if it's not. But yeah, I was about to talk about the facelift model, or the facelift changes. So back in 2002, mic is perfect. Okay, that's good. Back in 2002, Audi decided to bring out an S-Line version of the TT. It came out in two colours. I think it came out in Mazzano Red and also Ava Silver. Pretty sure they were the only two colours it came out with. And it had some new features. It had an aluminium gear knob. It had 20mm lowered suspension. It had, what else did it have? I think it had the silver insert headlights as well. And obviously had the S-Line badge on the side. Now, Audi asked a premium for that car because it had some new features, and they ran that for about 6 months with those features. And after 6 months, they then decided that they were going to put those features into the range as standard. But of course, people had paid a lot of money for those enhanced features on the S-Line model. So the people that had bought those cars, they went back to Audi and they said, "This is not on, guys. That you can't ask for a premium when you're going to make these features standard across the range." So Audi acknowledged that, and they came back and then they said, "Yeah, okay, we'll give you some money back." So Audi actually refunded these people as well, and they got some money back. So it does sometimes pay to go and ask for your money back. Yeah, so NCT we're talking about there. Yeah, Is there anything to dim other people's headlights in a TT mirror? It seems I am right at headlight height. I'm getting so your mirror should have a switch on the back of it that you push away that turns the mirror angle so you can dim it. So they should have that. There should be a little switch on the back, I think. Push them out. Pretty sure there is. Let me just check that for you. Yeah, I can see it. Let's it's going to take you off the. What we'll do, we'll just have a look inside. We'll have a look inside the Papaya. So we'll take you for a little walk into the Papaya. So here we go. We'll get in the car. Okay, so there's your mirror, Nathan. So you've got that switch there, and by flicking that switch, it puts it down, so that will allow you to dim it as well. So you have got that feature. You've also got this. If I just, he says, there it is. You can see that. You can flap that down as well. So if you're getting blinded by the sun, as well as your sun visor here, you actually have 3 sun visors. You've got this little sun visor here. People don't often know about that one, but that's a nice little feature you've got there as well. But while we're in the car, and I don't know how well this is going to come out, but we'll see if we can. But there is my double din stereo. So there's no TT flap. So you can see that's my that is my radio in the car. There's no key in the ignition, so it won't come on. But you can see that below that, the heater controls have been lowered down from this position down to there, and the cigarette lighter and the tray have gone on this car. So it doesn't have the TT flap, so it is OEM plus. And this is what I mean about, I've got these coffee cup holders for my wife to sit in the passenger seat and drink coffee. So it has got that. It's also got, we've got a camera as well for, what's it called? The name escapes me. I've also got one on the back as well. It's hanging down. What they call, not a reversing camera, like a front-facing camera for accidents and that sort of thing. Heaven forbid I have an accident in this car, because that will be upsetting. So I'm going to talk about that as well. And something I'd recommend you do, which I haven't done on this yet, but I'm going to do it. Beautiful colour car, isn't it? Look at it sitting here. It's a bit grubby still. Not a lot of clearance on the back of it though. I've only got a little bit of clearance there. It's currently got a cloth hanging out the back of it, down there. And the reason there's a cloth hanging out the back of it is because the battery's a problem, and I don't want that boot to lock in position, so it allows me to get access to it. But we're going to talk about insurance quickly. So if you have, if you've got one of these rare Audi TT Mark 1s like the Papaya, I'd highly recommend you take out a guaranteed value insurance policy. So an agreed value, it's classed as. It's a little bit more money than maybe your standard fully comp insurance. But what you do is you speak to the insurance company and you say, I have got a rare colour Audi TT. It's low mileage. If I went to sell this car, because this car, if you think, if I've been offered £10,000 for it, and if I had a crash in the car tomorrow, the insurance company would pay me out probably £1,500, because they'd say that's what the market value is. Well, we know this is worth £10,000. So I need to speak to the insurance company, and I need to say, I want to get an agreed policy. So if I have a problem and an accident, you will pay me £10,000. Now, an agreed policy normally has to come around and have to be assessed, or they would do an assessment online or in some way, but an assessor will check the value of your car, check the condition of the car, and then agree that the car is worth a certain value. And because it's worth more money, your insurance premium will be higher. But the benefit is, if you have an accident, you will get paid out what was agreed. So an agreed value insurance policy, highly recommend if you've got a rare colour car or a particularly low mileage car. So that's one thing to definitely check out. My 03 doesn't have the little visor in the centre. That's interesting. It doesn't have that little visor in the centre, Gerard, because they I thought they all had that little visor in the centre. Even the Roadster has that, which I think is a bit mad, because surely if the sun's out, you've got the roof down, and if you've got the roof down, you can see the sun. So having that little visor there, a bit pointless, because you know that's the whole point of having the roof down, isn't it? But hey ho, is what it is. What have we got? Right, I'm going to change the. So is there anything you want to look at on this car as well, guys? Or anything you want to take a close look at? Because that's what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about jump starting a 3.2 because I don't know if you know, but if you've got a 3.2, obviously the battery's in the boot. So if you've got a flat battery, how are you going to access the boot to jump start the car or charge the battery? Well, you can of course take it off. There's if you've got the drinks holder in the center console of the car, which is just behind the handbrake, that's got the drinks holder. There's also, if you haven't got it, there's a little plastic door on the tunnel, a little round door about that sort of size, round door, like rectangular door, and it's shaped like the shape of the tunnel. Okay, so you can remove that, and in there there'll be a little orange loop of wire. If you pull that, it's the emergency boot release for the coupe. It will open the boot, but that's a real faff to do. So what I want to look at, is there a way I can jump start the car, or at least get enough power into the car that I can activate the electrics again with the car. So I've got I'm just looking around for it so I can show you where it is. Is it somewhere accessible? So I've got a battery charging pack that allows me to supply 12 volts power to the car as a constant supply, like a battery. Won't charge the car like that, but it will supply 12 volt power. So I thought, well, if I can do that, if I can supply 12 volts under the engine bay somewhere, then surely I can activate the electronics. So I was thinking about how to do it, because people have said you can go off the alternator and you can go off other parts of the bodywork to do it as well. Because what this car doesn't have, it doesn't have any posts in the front that you could jump start the car off. It doesn't have that. And I'm thinking about doing a mod so that I can run cables from the back of the car to the front, that I can attach the battery, that I can just get 12 volts to. It doesn't have to be a massive thick wire, because you're not going to be jumping the car. All you've got to do is get enough current and voltage and ampage to the battery to allow you to activate the electrics to get to the boot. That's all you need to do. So it doesn't need to be one of those big thick cables. I have kept some tails back from so look, see if I can see them. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get them and show what I mean. I'm just going to get these down from my he says, bear with me guys, I'm just going to get these off the wall. So I've got these two little tails here, only short, so I'm going to try and find somewhere on the bodywork where I can actually attach these, and I can get some current into it so I can jump it. Yeah, I could use a trickle charger to do it, but I'm just thinking of a way that if I'm at the side of the road and I've got no current in it, so I've got no way of getting to the battery, having a way to get it. So I'm going to rig something up under the bonnet that will then have caps on this, so it doesn't like short the body, short the power out. That I can then tap onto. I can get to jump start the car. I can get power to it. So I'm going to do something on that. Wi-Fi doesn't have. Yeah. You just need a dongle Anderson connection. Where does that go, Stephen? Where does that go? Tell me where it goes. I'd be interested to know, because I want to do something. I want to do like well, you could probably do one yourself, couldn't you? You could probably do a little video on that, on how to create a little starting mechanism or a little current supply. So what I was going to show, I was going to open the bonnet, and this is my theory. I'm going to share with you guys and see what you think. So I'm going to open the bonnet on the 3.2. Let's get the bonnet open. Okay. So here we go. Let's get the bonnet open of this car. Okay. So if we bring you over, it says. So right here is obviously the battery cover is here on the 3.2. There's no battery here, obviously, because this is where the battery would go. So if I just remove these, I'm going to quickly spin these off. I'm lucky these ones actually undo with any old screwdriver, because they're only just tacked in place. They're not done up tight, he says. Then he finds out that one is actually done up tight. Right, we have to get a Phillips screwdriver on that, guys. Me saying it's not done up tight, and it is done up tight. Let's see if I can put that in there. into the little screwdriver inside. There you go. That's that turn. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. So I'm just going to spin these off. I've only got 2 of these in mine, if you notice. I haven't got all 3. It's a bit of a pain. So I'm going to put one there. I'm going to take that one out as well. I haven't even got the original of these as well. These are like aftermarket ones. We'll take that off. I'm going to lift the battery tray off. So under there, so you see there's no battery here because obviously the battery's in the boot, but the little fuse box is right here. So what we're going to do, open this up. Now, if you see my video on this, so this big fuse here, now this is the alternator fuse right here, okay? So my theory was, if I can supply some current to that, and I can tap off the bodywork for the negative connection, then I could supply some voltage to the car to at least trigger some electronics to open the boot. So that's my theory, is on this fuse box, is could I tap something off here? What do you think, guys? TT strikes me as a spiritual, success to the calm gear. Motor at wrong end, but same idea. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. But I think that would be my best bet, would be to get something onto the alternator connection there, rather than, because the alternator is quite buried away in this car, as we know. So if I could run something onto, if I could run, where's my cables again? Yeah, if I could run something from here, onto that I can get some power to, that would probably get me out of trouble. So that's obviously quite a chunky monkey, that one. I could run it off there, wouldn't shut. But again, how do I do it? What's your thoughts? You can buy a C-Tech cable to charge a battery through the cigarette lighter socket. So you could use the aux battery through that too. Yeah. Only trouble is I haven't got a cigarette lighter. That's the trouble. So this car doesn't have a cigarette lighter because I've got that doubled in stereo. I don't have a way to connect anything to the cigarette lighter. It doesn't have one. It's got USB, which is great, but it doesn't have anything. Cigarette lighter based. Through that to open the boot if you had a lighter still, or maybe refit one. Yeah. I don't really want to start modifying, putting cigarette lighters into the car anywhere, because I want to keep it as standard as possible. But totally agree that would be a good way of doing it. So that is my thought process behind that, is have something tapped off there. Please fuse it to 10-20 amp fuse, Andy. You can't run that massive cable and have it dangling. No, I wouldn't have it dangling, Stephen. No, I was going to mount that somewhere so that it's completely isolated, and it's also got, I'm going to mount on top of that, going to mount a plastic cover as well. But it will be somewhere on the body that I can tap onto easier than running off that. What about, oh no, maybe I won't do that. Right, so if you can think of an idea, guys, on that, let me know, because that would be one thing I do want to have a look at. But what else have I got going on? So, as you know, we need to take the bumper off. I was going to hopefully do that tonight, but I haven't had chance to do that. So that hasn't been done yet. But these unfortunately, these parts on the car, right? You have to make sure it's all clipped back together, right? Because what tends to happen is if you don't clip it all back together correctly, people tend to lose components, and that is what's happened previously. So you need to make sure all these bolts are done up properly. Don't just take a chance and hope for the best, because I think a lot of these connections are lost from the TT Mark 1 because you go to a garage and they lose one of these, and trying to buy them, they're really expensive to buy, and they're normally all shot to ribbons as well. So I'm just going to do these up. So I always make them done, even though I won't be driving the car anywhere afterwards. So we've got under here, So there is our, have a look, that's our 3.2 V6 lump, as you've seen probably many times on the channel. Obviously 6 cylinders of power. Obviously it shares a head because it's the VR6, so it has a common head, whereas a normal V6 would have 2 different cylinder heads. This has a common shared head. Beautiful engine, 247 brake horsepower out of the factory. Not an awful lot you can do to it to tune it cheaply. If you wanted to make power out of it, you have got to probably turbo the car. I've got a question. So I've looked for an outside temperature sensor, and they now have retrofit to cut and splice a connector to a new start to be able to switch it whenever it goes bad. Ever heard that? I think there are a few external temperature sensors on the car anyway, because if you go to the secret menu, there I think either 2 or 3, I think, is an external temperature sensor. They've got temperature sensors everywhere, these cars. So I'm pretty sure there's a couple there. There's one that's definitely in the bumper, I think, remember rightly. But there's some in like the door, not the door pillar, but in the cabin. There's one in the, I think there's one in the door pillar, or the front of the, not in the door, because obviously the door doesn't have any pillars, but the front pillar in front of the windscreen, I think there's one in there as well. Hello, Jack. How you doing? Hope you had a good Christmas, buddy. Hope Santa bought you lots of nice things. But yeah, so I think that is probably where you've got a few different temperature sensors, but there's a lot of things you can access on the secret menu. So if you use that secret menu to look at the different temperature sensors, that and the other things, let's say using 49C for your water temperature, it's always a given to use that to get the exact water temperature. 51C for your oil as well. That's another good one to make sure you can check all the temperatures on your car as well. But this year, I do need to get this car serviced as well. So that'll be my next big thing. I've got a filter to go on. I've got the oil to go on it because it holds a whole host of oil. It takes a lot more oil than the 1.8 turbo engine. So buying a 5-litre tub of oil from your garage isn't going to give you enough, unfortunately. I was talking about the one at the front that raised the outside one for the cluster. Yeah, I think you can look at that up. Okay, are you talking about adding something to it to replace that one then, are you, I guess? Maybe. Possibly. Maybe you are. I'm not sure. But I'm going to put the bonnet down on this now because we've talked about this last week, I think, as well. We talked about the fix that you can get, the Porsche 3.6 V6 fix, where you replace this diaphragm, put it here, and by fitting it there, you get away from the issue of where the diaphragm fails here, and you end up with that whistling noise. Is there room to turbo the VR6 TT? Ken, if you can do it, it has been done. It's about in UK money. In UK money, that is about a £10,000 job, and it's sort of seen as the big job that you can do to gain power out of the V6, because the V6 tuning potential is pretty minimal. You've got to put a turbo on it to get any more power. The 1.8 turbo engine, if you're into tuning and you want to get more power, that's the way to go for the car. If you want to fiddle with the car, that's your way forward. The VR6 is not there for tuning, really. It's there for driving. It's there for the sound. It's there for the smooth delivery of power. It's just a different driving experience. The 1.8T is a much more excitable drive, I suppose. Probably talk about it. It's a lot more. It gives you much more of a thrill from like seat your pants, putting you in the seat when the turbo kicks in. Whereas this, the sound and the smoothness is just like, it's something else. It's a much different beast to drive. I would highly recommend one if you've not driven one. As Ferris Bueller says, if you have an opportunity to own one, I highly recommend it. And I would. A V6 is one of those cars I highly recommend owning. Yeah. VR6, too spendy to turbo, really. Yeah. Gotta love the VR6. It's an amazing engine. I mean, the sound of it, if you like you know, if you like cars and if you like noisy cars, when I say noisy cars, I mean exhaust note cars, not like wet cars. Talking about cars that give you a a beautiful engine note through the exhaust. Then the VR6, you know, for a six-cylinder engine, you can't beat it. You know, if you've got a V8 or you've got a V12 or V10, you know, I think about the um, the R8 has got a beautiful sound to it. It's a lovely engine, the R8. Just joined. Is it a Gen One car lover? Yes, it is exactly that. This is a Gen One Audi TT Mark One. We're going to flip you up there. This is an Audi TT Mark 1 3.2 V6 in Papaya, one of 41 or 42 made for the UK market. Got a screwdriver on the floor. Very rare condition, colour car. It's got 68,000 miles on the clock, this one. It's my one. It's one of 3 Audi TTs I own. I've got a breaker in the garden that I use for parts, which is scattered around my garage in parts. I've got a 225 Roadster, which is a 1.8 turbo engine. Lovely car, great fun in the summer, great fun in the winter. I've done a video recently, so if you want to check out a bit of a fun video, you check out me driving the Roadster in the winter and telling you why the winter time's the time that you should own a TT Roadster, because they're great fun. Crank those seats up, get dressed up warm, get a bobble hat on, bright sunshine, get your sunglasses on, drive that in the winter. You can't put a smile on your face more than that. It's such a brilliant car to drive. I'm having a little look. CA Motorsports out of Nova Scotia, Canada is the people to talk to about performance in the VW world. Yeah, it's a long way to go for a car though, but it sounds great. Which one of the wipers is longer? I took them off a long time ago. I'm not sure which is which now. They both look the same size on my car. They're both at the same size. Just going back to that comment. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the Gen 2. So yeah, the Audi TT Mark 1, which is what this car is here, is the styling. It's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's just so unique, I suppose. It follows the Bauhaus principles where you know, form is form is, what's the word I'm looking for? But Bauhaus design, it's, you know, I can't remember the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so it's minimalist design. Form is function. That's the word I'm looking for. Form is function. So everything has a function and a reason on this car. It's a beautiful car. It's from the concept car that came out in 1995 to the production model that came out in 1998. It's a 3-year gap. They claim over 90% of the original car from the concept was maintained and retained for the production model. It's that close. So people often say it's the first concept car to go to production. That's not strictly true, because you imagine most concept cars go to production because that's the point of a concept car. But I think what they were getting at with that is it was the first car to maintain as much original of the concept car to go to production. So this is, they say, 90% of what was produced. And if you look at those early concepts that were released in 1995 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, they didn't have any rear windows. So the coupe didn't have any rear windows. So that's been added. So that was quite a bit of a change. And there were some revisions to the lights and the bumpers, but very much similar. Yeah, the Bauhaus design is great. Tradition and technology, yeah. So the TT doesn't stand for tradition and technology, though, Gerard. Did you know that? Although you are in the States, did you know that where the TT was designed? Does anybody know in the comments? Do you want to put in the comments where the TT was designed in the world? On the TT forum website, there was a guy called Steve who fitted a turbo to his V6 and did a very, very long build thread. Search for it. Yeah, there are a couple of guys that have done it. Happy New Year! Happy New Year in 2 days. Yeah, absolutely. Not long, not far off now. It'll soon be round. But yeah, does anyone know where the TT was designed? Without Googling it. The 26, 27-year-old, they still feel fantastic, futuristic. They do. And I think it's because when Audi designed this car, they avoided all the stick-on grills and features and functions in America by a guy called Jay Mays. Yeah, car lover, California. That is exactly right. Yeah, this car, the design was done. It was produced in America, in California, and it was designed by 3 different guys, taking on different aspects of it themselves. And you've got Romulus Rost is one of the guys that did it. And off the top of my head, I can't remember. Or Jay Mays must be another. TT is named after the Isle of Man race. It is indeed. Tourist trophy. That's exactly right, Stephen. That's where it gets its name from. So there's a couple of facts to get you started. So the video that's coming out tomorrow is 100 facts on the Audi TT Mark 1. I want to know how many of those you guys get right. And what I want you to do, take a note of what questions they're coming up. Of the 100 questions, it will tell you a fact. So it's not a question for you to answer. It's, do you know that fact? And I want to know at the end of that competition, or end of that 100 facts, how many of those 100 you knew. I'll be surprised if someone knows all 100. Maybe they do. I don't know. But let me know in the comments what your score is when you do that competition tomorrow. Let me know. I want you to check out all those. And again, that whole the whole principle behind that tomorrow is all set to footage of cars I've met over the last 5 years. So there's different footage of different moving cars, cars at shows that I've met. So your car will probably be featured if I've met you over the last 5 years. There'll be a lot of cars on that video. But yeah, Kenneth, you're right. It was built in Hungary. People often think it was built in Germany, but it wasn't. It was built in Hungary. And the very first cars that were produced, they were actually, well, it was assembled in Hungary is the way it was, because the first cars, those very first early production cars, were built by hand in Germany, shipped to Hungary and assembled in Hungary, and then shipped back to Germany. Mad as that is. So that's all good. Just plugged in those lights out in the cold, worked for about 5 minutes, then packed in. Might be crap wires, yeah. Okay, but do you know what, Christoph? That is good practice, and it's a good progress. So it's all learning curve. So take them back inside, have a fiddle, get them working. But definitely try and pick yourself up a spare set of lights so you can use the car in the meantime. Guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, then give it a thumbs up. And again, if you as you can see there, Christoph, his name appears in green, so he's a channel member. So if you want to support the Andycharger channel and support me, you're more than welcome to sign up. I think we've already had Stephen Craddock has joined tonight as a member. So thanks, Steve, for joining as a member and supporting the channel. Really appreciate that, buddy. If you do want to support me, again, it's only through your sort of love and donations that keep the channel going, because it's not my job. This is just a hobby. So if you want to support me and help me bring more content, perhaps I've helped you with a video on how to do something, saved you the money, saved your trip to the garage, then you can always leave me send me a cup of coffee, buy me a super chat in this video. Or if you want to join the channel and support the channel ongoing, you can also join the channel as well and become a member and support me moving forward. So for all my channel members and people that send me a super thanks and super chat, thank you very much and much appreciated. It does really make a big difference. It allows me to bring better content and bring more function and features to the channel and help you guys even more. So when we're talking about things that I've done to put money back into the channel, so anything that gets donated goes straight back in the channel. So what I bought today, or what I bought this week, from Amazon. So I've got this light box here. Okay, looks like so that is projecting light onto me like that, as you can see me there. So that helps me, believe it or not, when I'm sitting here in the garage, I've got this light on me, so it helps you see me. So hopefully YouTube's not pixelating me too much. So things like that make a big difference on how I can bring you more content. Thoughts on the new ugly TT concept? Yeah, do you know what? I think that's I think Bugatti have had a hand in that, because looking at that new TT concept, it looks just like a Bugatti to me, that whole front end of it. I don't think the paint helps an awful lot on that, because it's almost like a silvery, bronzy, matte paint with not pearlescent, but like metallic paint. It's weird. Again, I don't think you're going to see that on the streets in its current form. It's going to be it's going to go through some changes, I would have thought. But it's progress. It's moving forward. Right now, we don't have an Audi coupe, a Sportster, a Roadster. We don't have that. So at least that is bringing that back into those of us that love Audis. We've got that as something to move forward to. We know that technology is changing. We know that electric cars are becoming more mainstream, and I think that's Audi's dalliance into how they can turn, an EV into something a bit more sporty. We know that they've got the e-tron, and it's a lot of money for what that is. But even that is, it's a family car, really, isn't it? The e-tron. But there are some great features Audi are coming up with, and they're innovators. Sorry, they're bringing new technology to the masses, and you can really, if you take that back to the 1980s when they first came out with the Quattro, the Audi Quattro. And then if you bring that forward to the TT, Audi really took that design and they allowed that to influence their future designs. I think they're always now seen as a real innovator and bringing new technology to us and bring to the streets. So I think the TT had a big hand to play in that, believe it or not, back in the mid-90s. But the concept car of the Audi, we talked there about the TT concept car of 1995. It isn't actually Audi's first experiment into a two-seat sports concept. So if you actually go delving through the archives and do a bit of Googling, while they talk about the Audi TT concept of 1995, go back 4 more years and you will find that Audi came out with a car called the Audi Avis. Now, those of you that own an Audi TT Mark 1, there is a colour called the Avis Silver car. Well, Audi produced a car called the Audi Avis, and that looks to me, if you're on here now, open another browser window and Google Audi Avis, right? Take a look at that car if you've not seen it, and tell me that doesn't look just like an R8. I think Audi have taken the Avis concept and thought, do you know what? That would be a really, really tasty car to have. And they've turned the Avis into the R8, I'm sure of it. New tech in cars, don't like driving a tablet. I get that, Nathan, but it's the future, it's progress. It's I think things need to move forward. Technology needs to move on. We still love our old classic cars, and we'll always have our old classic cars. But I think you can't carry on driving technology 20, 30, 40 years old. Things need to move on. And I think for new modern motoring, it needs to develop and move on. Time can't stand still and wait. And I think Formula One is always a great example of that, how technology is, they really innovate in Formula One and they bring new technology and new ideas come to the fore, which often trickles down to road cars. Audi TT Mark 1 is cool. Yeah, it certainly is. And let's have a look at one sitting right here. Here is my Audi TT Mark 1 in Papaya. I mean, look at this for a beautiful car. I mean, it really is a great looking car, this. I mean, tell me that's not a lovely colour car to have in your garage. I'm very lucky to have this. But guys, if you are, hi Phil, Mr. P, how you doing? Another great channel member, another channel supporter. Again, your name in green. Thanks for being a channel member and supporting me, buddy. We did hope to see you last night, but I think you were otherwise engaged. I think from your message, I think you had visitors last night, so a few people couldn't get on last night and chat. But I am going to look at holding another one for channel members so that we can all chat. Eric Floriani, yes, this is a V6. This is the 3.2 V6 in Papaya. So yeah, hopefully you I keep getting breaking news pop up on my phone, which doesn't really help me when I'm doing this live TT broadcast. But yeah, beautiful car. It's got 68,000 miles on the clock, this one. I've had it for about 18 months and it's done about 3,000, 4,000 miles since I've owned it. I'm trying to keep the mileage down so it can keep on going forever. That's the way I see it. But it is a great car. And there are a lot of great cars on the scene as well at the moment. Didn't get a lot of people telling me their favourite colour cars actually in the chat earlier. So guys, if you've got a favourite colour TT, what is your favourite colour Audi TT Mark 1? Let me know in the comments. Be interested to know. Carl had a Generation 2 manual TT, loved it, yeah. So the design classic really is the Mark 1. That is the Bauhaus design classic. Whereas by the time they got to the Mark 2, they refined it a bit and it lost some of its Bauhaus and design. You know, it's not really classic anymore in the Mark 2. It's a refined version. It's a nicer drive, less to go wrong, but it is not really design classic. And the Mark 3 it's a different car completely. It's really changed. It's not that, it won't have that iconic looks, I don't think. It's a beautiful car, and from a drive perspective, it's a great car to drive, but it's not the design classic. Mark was the purest design, yeah, non-conformant with other sports cars at the time. Yeah, that's the thing, is the TT looked like nothing else around at the time. It was so groundbreaking, and it also, the use of aluminium for all the components, the all the dials and that sort of thing. It's actual aluminium parts. They're not painted parts. It's all the inserts into the air vents and the door handles. It's all aluminium. The fuel cap, it's not. Also, anything burgundy, yeah. There is a lovely cherry red Mark 1 you'll see around a few times. There's a guy in South Wales that's got a beautiful cherry red one. It's almost classed as burgundy. It's a great car. Just remember, Andy, cars were designed to be driven. All needs to circulate around the motor to coat the seals and other things. Yeah, you've got to drive them, but you've also got to love them and look after them as well. So, what colour cars are people saying? So we've got a few votes for Papaya, which I'd expect. So we've got one right here. Mazzano red, is that Steve? Yeah, Stephen, you're biased because you've got a Mazzano red one. So, but yeah, what's my favourite dish? Petri dish, gravy boat. I don't know. What's my favourite dish? I don't know what Kieran Petra. Not sure what you mean by that. My favourite car, is that you talking about favourite car, favourite colour car? I'm not sure. Food, my favourite food. Oh, I don't know. Probably some chips. I'm currently on a diet, so I've lost 2 stone in the last just under 2 months. I've lost 2 stone because I was getting high blood pressure and pre-diabetic. So I had to sort it out. So I've lost 2 stone. So I've made a big difference to my diet and my life, which is good. Well, I do feel cold all the time now, which is not great. The last fast car I had was 40 years ago, a Mark II RS 2000. Unlucky to be alive. Yeah. The RS 2000 had that sort of like bull nose, didn't it? Like that slope bull nose over the headlights. Stephen Craddock has got a lovely Mark 1 on here. I think it's a Mark 1 you got, isn't it, Steve? And for me, my favourite car, my all-time favourite car, would be a Series 1 RS Turbo. So Mark III RS Turbo. Obviously, then he made them in white, other than that one black one that was made for Princess Di. But that is my all-time favourite car. So if I had a car sitting in the garage now that I could keep forever, it would be that. And that's because I had a Mark III Escort as my very first car. So the RS Turbo was seen as the ultimate of what I was driving, and I only had a 1.3 basic Escort. But I did own an RS Series 2, a Spec 90 RS Turbo in the late 90s, which had done a lot of miles. Was very tired, and didn't really do me a lot of favours. But I do like my Mazzano red, though. I've a bit of lack appeal, and someone has. Oh my god, no! That is the worst. Why do people do that to cars? My brother was here at home on Boxing Day. He came over to see us on Boxing Day, and he told me that his car got keyed a few weeks ago down in Ramsgate Harbour, and it's just like, why do people do that? It's just like, of all the things you can do, why would you do that? Doesn't make any sense. and he said, "Oh, maybe it wasn't keyed. Maybe it was just where someone's dragged something past the car." Well, looking at the shape of his car, there's no way someone is, something's gone all right. Nah, it's dreadful. Absolute morons. People are morons that do that, and I can guarantee the people that do that are not car people, because car people would not key a car. That's the thing. That's what it's morons. I like white, yellow, and I'm partial to silver due to mine being silver. Yeah, silver cars are like people make people make a lot of jokes about the silver Audi TT Mark 1, whereas really, if you're talking about the absolute design classic, you think about the Audi TT Mark 1, you probably think about a silver, in your head. If you close your eyes and picture that, normally as a non-TT fan, let's say, because I'm sure if you're a TT fan, you think of your car. But if you were just a random person in the street, you said, draw me a picture of an Audi TT Mark 1, I guarantee it'd be silver. Because that, at the time when they came out, that was the colour, because it was seen as an aluminium body, and that was the colour of the car. And they were so common. My Roadster's silver, and when I bought my Roadster, I purposely looked for a silver one, because I thought in my head it's got to be silver, because that's the classic look, Stole my dust caps also so kids. It was parked to my local train station. Yeah, it's just soulless scumbags. They're dreadful, isn't it? People got no class to do that. I don't know why they do that, but it's what it is. But I'm going to do over the next few weeks. I'm going to finally get rid of that breaker I've got in the garden. So right now, it's got no boot lid on it, because the boot lid is here. But here's the boot lid. So there is a black boot lid for a Mark 1 sitting right there. So if anyone needs a black boot lid, I've got one in stock. I've also got the bonnet for that car. I've got the two doors. I've sold a lot of bits off it, but there are some bits around that I've still got if people are looking for any parts of their car. I've also got sitting here a subframe which I've stripped down, which I talked about last week. And the reason I've got it still here is when I send it off to the paint, the powder coaters, I want to also send off. There's an arm, like an arm piece on the rear subframe that's holds the Haldex or the diff. It holds it like a cradle. That isn't part of the subframe; it's a separate part. But there's one on the breaker in the garden, so I want to take that off before I get rid of that car and take those parts off for powder coating. So I'm thinking, if I'm sending bits for powder coating, I want to send as many bits as possible to get the best bang for my buck. So I've got a pair of control arms down here. So I've got a control arm right there. So I'm going to get those powder coated. Now you can see I've removed the bushes from that. So the bushes are completely out of that right now. But this one that's out there, but that one's still in, and I'm really struggling to get that out at the moment. So I've been literally taking a hammer and chisel. I've chipped around the outside to try and knock that out so I can get that off. Do you still have the door mirrors? Yes, I do, Stephen. I have the door mirrors. I'm going to do a video on how to remove door mirrors. It's quite an easy job, but yeah, they're black, but obviously they're not phantom black. So that black on that car is, what is it? Cherry black metallic, is it? Something like that, I think. But yeah, I've still got them. So if you're interested in those, Steve, I've got them. But I've also, I don't know if the catalytic converter and the exhaust pipe, that's still on the car as well. And I think the cats are probably worth a few quid. So I think I might strip that off and sort of sell that off to a breaker or whatever, or sell it off somewhere. But whatever I can get out of the car, because I reckon that the car, I paid £300 for that car, and I paid £100 to have it delivered by a friend of mine who drove it to me. So the car owed me £400, and for the bits I've sold off it, I think I've probably taken about £1,500 out of it now. So it's made £1,000, that car, if you think of it that way. And there's still bits I'd like to take off it, but they're bits that if I take them off, I won't be able to move the car. So a great example being, I want to take the subframes off, right? So I've got right here, here is, look at this subframe. Look how beautiful that is. So that is a Mark 1 V6 subframe for the front. It's been powder coated. It's in beautiful condition. And that's because when I had the blue Mark 1, Mr. George, how are you doing? Another channel support. I've not had a chance to thank you for joining my channel. You joined last week, Richard. So thank you very much for becoming a member. Most appreciated, sir. Thank you for supporting me. Stephen Craddock has joined tonight as well. So that's another great person on the in the membership crew. So that's two of the people I know very well that have joined up recently. And I really appreciate that. Thank you, Richard, for doing that. Just talking there about the subframe. So someone approached me yesterday and said, I have their friend wants to sell their TT. I said, okay, what is it? It's a V6. It's got it's about 140,000 miles, and they wanted about $3,500 for it, $3.5 grand as well. So I thought that's great. You might be able to get that, I don't know. So I then had someone get in touch with me, or someone got in touch with me who said they were looking for a V6 if they were new one for sale. So I've put them in touch, and then we started asking a few questions. And obviously, one of the things you should do if you're looking to buy an Audi TT Mark 1, I would recommend before you go and look at it is, and it's free to do, is get onto the DVLA website or the government website and look at the MOT history of the car, and also look at any advisories it currently has outstanding. Because if people have got advisories and they're not putting them right, it makes you think to yourself, well, hang on a minute, if they're not putting the advisories right, does that mean that they are, are they doing the maintenance on the car? So we're talking about advisories. This particular car we were looking at, it did have some advisories, and they were mainly around the underside. Now, they were things such as the brake pipes were corroded, there was corrosion on the subframe, there was corrosion on the lower arms, and the more you could see, it had the underneath probably needed a lot of work. So that's where you've got to think to yourself, well, no matter how cheap the car is, if it needs a load of work doing to the underneath, it gets quite expensive and gets quite messy. If you can do it yourself, then great. But if you've got to take it to a garage, it can soon start getting quite expensive. Spaghetti, by chance, you haven't got an intercooler mounting bracket knocking about you want to sell? Are you talking about an intercooler bracket for the side of the car, the two side mount intercoolers? Spaghetti? If you are, I don't know where you're located. So I've got the two side mount intercoolers. I've got a pair of them here that have come off that car. If you're local and you want the bracket, you can come get it, mate. I don't want any money for it. You can come pick it up if you're quite local to me. If I've got to post it, then obviously if you want to pay postage. But yeah, we can drop me an email if you want, and we can sort that out. I'm not worried about bracket price. Left side as you look at the engine. Your left-hand side you're talking about on the driver's side. So if I look at the engine in front of me on the left side, that left engine, yeah, I've probably got it. So drop me an email, Spaghetti, and we'll sort that out. So there's lots of bits on that car that are still to go that I can get off there, and if it can help you guys out, I'm always happy to help you guys out. But just talking about that car, that was the V6 car that we're talking about. I think that needs a bit of work, let's say. And I think the guy that was looking then thought, well, hang on a minute, it needs a bit more involved. But again, if I was going to do an underneath restoration, I am going to do that on the Papaya. This is obviously a great component to do, because what I'm going to do is, I know from my own MOT, it did flag up that the rear subframe had some corrosion on it. Now, this is the front subframe, so this will go on at the same time. We're going to do the whole underneath of the car, so we can get that Papaya absolutely tip top. Now, I have got this subframe right here, and it's in really poor condition. Like, it's just horrid. But I've taken the bushes out, so you've probably seen my video. I've taken the bushes out, but again, I'm holding back on getting that powder coated until I've got my control arms all done, get all these components off so I can take it to the powder coaters all at once and get it done. And do you know what I've even got? I've even got a rocker cover. And I did think about maybe taking that to the powder coaters and getting that powder coated and then selling it, because I don't want it myself, but I'm thinking that's a good way of having a rocker cover powder coated, and then, you know, save someone having it done and you can just sell that on. What are your thoughts on side mount intercoolers for tuned 1.8Ts? Thank you. I'll shoot you an email. Thanks, Spaghetti. Do that, buddy, and we'll sort that out. Kenneth, I think if you're going to do upgrade your intercoolers, I would definitely go for a front mount. I think the front mount intercooler is definitely getting you more exposed to the air, so you're going to get much better sort of cooling of the air by using a front mount than you are using those side mounts. There's not enough exposed to the air in those side mounts. You know, they're not doing enough, I don't think. I've got one big front mounted one for mine. Yes. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, Christoph's got a good point there, that you, as I've just been saying, if you want to get more power, if you want more bang for your buck, definitely go for a front mount over side mount. I mean, the twin intercoolers limiting? I think they're limiting as far as they're not doing enough on the cooling perspective. Yeah, absolutely. Some second-hand non-refurb Mark 1 subframes can be had for reasonable money. Managed to get a front roaster one for 140 on eBay when mine for them. So yeah, and that's that e-shove, exactly that. So the reason I have got one in stock, freshly done, is I had my previous 3.2 V6. It failed the MOT with a hole in the front subframe. And I asked the garage, can I weld it up? And they said, no, you can't weld it up. You need to replace it, but you can't buy them new anymore. I was like, right, okay, so how are we going to solve this? So I managed to track one down at a breaker. I paid £50 for it, and this bolted on. But then I also managed to get hold of two more subframes, and I've had them both powder coated. And I have, well, that's a lie. I've had three subframes, one of which is there, powder coat, waiting for me to put it on. And I had two others powder coat, which I've then sold on. So the way I've done it is I've had three subframes, and the cost of or the profit from selling the two has paid for all three to be powder coated and the cost of all three. So essentially, I've got a powder coated fresh subframe for free after doing the work. Kind of had to do the work and get it all done, but it means that I've got one ready to go on when I need it. And I know that this car, judging by the MOT, it does need that to be done. So I will be doing that at some point. I will document that as well, because I think everything I do on the car, as you know, I like to share with you all, because I want to show you the pitfalls I've gone through and how I've dealt with fixing the problems, thinking outside the box to solve problems. So it's all good. Just making sure my mics are still on. They are. Hopefully, I'm coming through now, so nice and clear, guys. If you're enjoying what you're watching tonight and you enjoy my content on the channel, then please do give this video a thumbs up, guys, so I know that you are enjoying it. It means a lot to me. It means I'm, what I'm doing is worthwhile, and you guys are getting something out of it. So really appreciate all the love and support everyone gives me. Bryn has a great video on replacing front sub. Yeah. Do you know what? If you want to find anything really technical, how to on the Mark 1, obviously a lot of my content is on the stuff that is very basic. It's for beginners like me, where I'm learning how to do it. But if you want something a bit more technical, always go to Bryn's channel, because Bryn has got a whole host of content on the Mark 1. He's very technical. What he doesn't know is not worth knowing. He taught me how to do he came here and he taught me how to do a cam belt. He did a cam belt change, or I did the cam belt change with his instruction. Hence why, if you look on my wall over here, I don't know if you can see this list here, but this is a list of steps for doing a Mark 1 cam belt on a 1.8T. Because Bryn came down, wrote all the list of the things on the wall on my whiteboard, so we could tick them off one at a time as we went through it. So Bryn will have a video coming to the channel shortly, on his channel, on how to do that, which I'm looking forward to seeing, because I'll be quite happy to go back and watch that over and over to remind myself what I did and how I did it. but yeah, what he's so technical and what he doesn't know is not worth knowing. Great guy. We've got 18 people on at the moment, so if you say, definitely give it a thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you've got any more questions for me as well, because it's always good to answer any questions that you may have. I'm probably going to stay on for another sort of like 4 or 5 minutes, and there's 16 of you still watching right now. But I probably am going to jump off after 2 hours tonight because it's starting to get cold. My battery pack for my body warmer is not charged, so I've come out tonight and I haven't got it on, and now I'm on the Manjaro. I get cold quite quick, so I need to go and warm up, and my tea's gone cold now as well, and I can see breath coming out of my mouth as well when I'm breathing, so that's not good. But you know, for me, so there's a video coming out tomorrow that I really want you to check out, which is going to be 100 facts on the Audi TT Mark 1. I want you to check out all those facts and tell me at the end of the video how many of those 100 facts you already knew. And I want you to put in the comments to let me know how many of them you actually knew. And let's see in the comments who can get the most, who had the most facts. Maybe someone knows them all, but maybe not. We'll be interested to see. Question of TT, is you still into cycling, mate? I need to get back into it. Yes. Do you know what, Stephen? This year has been the first year for 14 years that I've not been out on my bike once. I need to get back onto it. I wanted to lose some weight before I got back on the bike. And when I'd lost the weight, I was going to get back on the bike and start cycling again. So, Stephen, if you, I know that because your dad was a cyclist, if I remember rightly, you've got time trialist genes in your family, same as me. My dad was a time trialist as well, rode for Chelmer CC. So I think that is something we could probably catch up with over a cup of tea at some point, maybe go for a ride ourselves. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? It's a bigger turbo the way to go on the 180 Quattro for more power. Looking forward to your 2026 video. Thank you. I can't say it. Sren Rasmussen. Thank you very much. There's plenty of content coming in the new year. I'm going to have a video coming on how to do this alternator on that. So that'll be coming in the new year. I've also got a video coming on testing and bench testing a starter motor, making that work by hooking it up to a jump pack and showing you how that works. That'll be quite an interesting video. Okay, we've got the subframes that need to be done. So the second part of the subframe restoration video, that will be coming soon. I still need to strip that engine down. So if we move the engine back, we've got sitting right here. We've still got this. I'll turn these lights on now. I'm going to flick that round as well. If I just spin this round like that. If I come over here, so sitting right here is the this is the 1.8T engine. So obviously got its rocker cover off. It's got its camshafts out of it. So this needs a decent video on this as well. So I will be doing a video on stripping this down. We're going to get the head off this. I do need to get an M10 ride bit to get down into the head bolts. It's 10 head bolts to get the head bolts off, so we can look at the damage that was caused. Oh, that made a lot of noise. As we've talked about before, because this is the cam belt that came off this engine. I mean, look at all the teeth it's stripped. Before my ownership, I might add. So there's a good reason why you need to. There you go. Look at that smooth bit there. That is a reason why you need to make sure you do a cam belt change. Look at that. All those teeth missing off there. So, of course, that's caused catastrophic engine damage to this engine. There's a subframe bush there as well. Well, that's a differential bush there. Yeah, that is mad, isn't it? So this cam belt spaghetti. So if you look, it's lost a few little teeth here and there, right? So it must have been having problems, and it's lost those few teeth there, right? And it's lost. There's another tooth missing there off the end. But there's no way, looking at if I go around to that big bit that's missing, look at this. There's about 25 teeth missing from there round to there. Now, I know from looking at that and lining that up around the sprocket that goes around, that there wasn't any teeth in contact with the sprocket. So when that has slipped, that has seriously thrown teeth and had a problem. So it's not particularly great, that, is it? But that is significant. That would cause Yeah, that's right. That's a timing belt right there, cam belt. So that you can see the damage that's been caused by that. And the difference. So here's one that's come off my Roadster. So this one's come off my Roadster, and if you look here, the teeth are all intact. There's no damage to those teeth. This belt feels like brand new. It was on the car for 5 years. It did about under 10,000 miles in that 5 years, right? But you should change these belts every 5 years or 75,000 miles, whichever comes first. So definitely do that. Even the 225 turbo is small. What they run on street driven. Yeah, check the tensioner. So when we did the belt, we did the tensioner, we did the hydraulic damper, and we also did the water pump. So when you do a cam belt, you need to do all those. Don't just do the belt, change the water pump, change the hydraulic damper, and also take the tensioner wheel as well. So I'll show you those bits what you need to change. Yeah. So here you go. So these are the bits that you need to change. And if you're doing a cam belt, so this is the water pump. So there is your water pump. And what tends to happen on these, so this bit is obviously in contact with the belt, and that will turn. You can see that is quite stiff, that one. The bearing is okay, but this is the bit that's pumping the water around the inside. So there's your little wheel, your water pump on the inside. And these plastic wheels, they can deteriorate in time and they start to fail. So they recommend you do the water pump whenever you do the belt as well. So there is the water pump. Here is your tensioner. So this is your tensioner as well. Now, what this happened, this has got a bearing as well, and this bearing can also seize up and cause you problems. If that seizes and the belt can't move on it, it will start burning the belt away. So always change that. And then you finally get the hydraulic damper, and this is this little wheel as well. So normally when you get a kit, it comes with a spare one of these little wheels that you can unbolt. There's a little bolt in there, you see, you can change that wheel. But what happens in time is this little plunger here, which can't really press in by my thumb. When they get old, you can, I can press that a little bit there. You can see that moving a little bit. As they get old, that starts to deteriorate and you can push it in, and then that's not good. So it's worth replacing that. That's almost like brand new, that one, I have to say. So they're the bits that came off the car. So that's so they're all the bits. If you're doing a cam belt, you should change all those bits at the same time. Sean Price. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I hope I'm correct. I say the person that told me what I need to change was none other than Mr. BWS TT himself. So I definitely recommend that Bryn knows what he's talking about, because he is the guru when it comes to Audi TT Mark 1. So I'm going to turn that softer. Turn that on. Stephen Harper, I don't know if you're still on, but highly recommend getting one of these soft boxes if you are, because they're really good for lighting and stuff. Because it's definitely, see, it's up there. So then when you're, can't probably see now, but it does definitely give you more light. As you are a fellow Mark 1 guy. Hi, Andy. Finally got my boot open today. I got rear-ended. Oh, no. Nightmare. Look forward to the Canberra video. Although, in all honesty, I fear it would be too advanced for me to attempt. Eshav, I thought the same thing until I had Bryn here doing it with me. With the TT, usually a belt failure, hence the 5-year period should be non-negotiable. Absolutely, yeah, Richard. That belt. Why people skip that 5-year maintenance? I get it; it's an expensive job. You know, the belt and all the kit, paying someone to do it, you're probably looking at £500, £550. It's an expensive job, but it's not as expensive as losing your car. So I highly recommend anyone not to skip that as a maintenance step. There are some really important maintenance things that you should do. So if you've bought a new car, guys, and it comes with no maintenance, the steps I would recommend you do, I'd recommend you do a cam belt as soon as you can. I'd recommend you drop the sump and do the oil pickup pipe, because on the 1.8T engine, that is a big problem. I'd recommend doing an oil filter change as soon as you can as well. And also do a Haldex oil change as well. There's 4 things I would recommend you do as soon as you can to make sure your car's got its best chance of living on. That's definitely 4 jobs I'd recommend you doing. Humble Mechanic video on the time belt system is one of the best ones as well. Yeah, yeah, we spoke about that last night. Humble Mechanic does a great video, so yeah, definitely. Luckily insured. Yeah, the trouble is, even if you're insured, that if it's a Mark One that you've been rear-ended in, they will pay you out, but it won't be worth anything, and then your car's written off, and you have to go and buy another one. If you're fully comp, if you're just third party, then obviously you don't even get that. But again, we spoke about it earlier on in the evening, that if you have a rare color car like this, I would highly recommend you go and get yourself on an agreed value insurance policy, because if you have an accident and the car gets written off, they will value your car at £1,500 when the car itself could be worth £10,000, like this colour car right here. So definitely worth doing that. Definitely worth making sure that you have got the car covered sufficiently for what you're using it for. Hopefully that all makes sense. But you know, guys, I want to. I'm going to jump off because I'm really cold now, and yeah, there's still 20 people watching. So I want to thank you all for jumping on and watching this evening and watching content about the car. I want to thank you all for supporting me this year as well. It's been a fantastic year for the Audi TT Mark 1. We've got some great things coming up next year. We've got the International TT show in Ypres. Please do come along to that if you can. I'm going to be holding Springfest once again in my garden. So if you want to come along to Springfest with your car, Richard, I'm desperate to see your Quattro Sport. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. So if you're still watching, buddy, please do pop down and see me when you, because obviously you're not too far away from me on the south coast now. So why don't you pop over and see me one weekend, and we can do a video and make a new episode of TT Meets TT with your Quattro Sport. I love Quattro Sports. Always great to see. And we'll pop you a message about the lights, Andy. Have a great evening. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, great talking to you last night as well, Christophe. That was great fun. Hello from France, Sylvain. Hope you're good, ça va? Sorry I'm about to jump off, but please go back and watch the video if you want to pick up on what we've been speaking about tonight. I will be back on next Monday doing another live as always. So if you want to join me for more TT chat next Monday, I'll be on. But once again, thank you everyone that has sent me a super chat this year, joined the channel as a member, subscribe to my channel, liked my content. Whatever you've done to support me this year, I can't thank you enough. If you want to send me a super chat tonight for supporting the channel, then please hit the little dollar button down below, and you can send me a super chat to know that you're enjoying my content, and that if I've helped you out, maybe it helps buy me a coffee and a cup of tea, because I'm blinking cold right now. But if you want to help me that way, then more than welcome. Don't feel you have to though. Just subscribing, liking the video, that is more than enough. But if you want to support me more and keep the channel going, then please do drop me a super thanks or join the channel as a member. New channel members are always very welcome, and thank you very much for joining me. But from me to you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. It's only a couple of days away. There will be a video coming in tomorrow, obviously, on the 100 facts from the Audi TT Mark 1. Make sure you check it out, and make sure you leave in the comments how many you get out of 100, how many of those you knew. Check out the new videos coming next year. If you are free on Friday and you live near Essex, get yourself along to the Swallowtails TT meet in Burnham on Crouch. That promises to be a good one. I won't be there because I'll be working. There is a video coming in January, all about the events in January and February. I'm going to do a 2-month video to cover it all off. But yeah, thanks so much, all you guys, for supporting me, all those lovely, great members, all those, I see all those green names, all those lovely members popping up now. Thank you guys for supporting me with a membership. It means so much to me. Happy New Year to you all. Look after yourselves. Drink, be merry, have a great time. And if I don't speak to you before, I will speak to you next Monday at 7:30 live here on YouTube. Thanks, as always. See you soon. Take care. Thanks, guys.